Sam knew things, not the obvious things, not the stuff written in emails or mentioned in meetings, private details, the name of a client I'd only thought about, habits I'd never shared with anyone. I started the new job on a Monday. Small marketing firm, open cubicles pretending to offer privacy, fluorescent lights that buzzed just slightly off frequency. Sam introduced himself first day. Tall, quiet, with a smile that looked practiced, the kind you give strangers in elevators. Normal enough. Within a week, something felt wrong. I'd leave my desk for coffee. 10 minutes, maybe less. When I came back, he'd mentioned something I'd whispered to a co-worker while he was gone. Private things, complaints about a difficult client, concerns about a deadline, things said when he wasn't anywhere near us. "You're worried about the Henderson account?" The question came casual, conversational, but I hadn't told anyone about Henderson, hadn't written it down, barely admitted the concern to myself. "Yeah, tough client." My voice sounded wrong, too tight. He shrugged, that empty smile. "You'll figure it out. You always do." I'd been there 6 days. The phrase sat in my stomach like cold water. You always do. Like he'd been watching longer than 6 days. Like he knew my patterns, my history, my tendencies. After that, I started noticing. He appeared behind me leaving meetings. Not following, just there. Emerging from hallways at the exact moment I passed. Timing too precise. I'd hear his voice when I thought the corridor was empty, the sound making me flinch. Sometimes I'd step away from my computer. Bathroom break, phone call, 2 minutes maximum. A note would be on my desk when I returned. Handwritten. His careful script. But the noir contained things I hadn't written yet. Ideas still forming in my head. Sentences I'd only been considering typing. Words I was still arranging mentally. One night I worked late. Everyone gone hours ago. The building silent except for the lights humming overhead. That particular frequency that gets into your teeth. Sam's desk sat empty across the office. His chair pushed in neat. Monitor dark and lifeless. The guest chair beside my desk moved. Just slightly. A few degrees to the right. Like someone had been sitting there and had just stood up. I stared at it, waiting for it to move again, waiting for the air to settle, for some rational explanation to present itself. It didn't. My notebook lay open beside my keyboard. Bullet points I hadn't written. Details about the proposal I was working on. Specific phrases. Exact wording I'd been thinking while typing but hadn't typed yet. Someone had written them down for me. Anticipated my thoughts and transcribed them. The handwriting wasn't quite mine, wasn't quite his either. Something in between. I spun around in my chair, pulse hammering. Empty cubicles stretching away into shadow. Dark monitors. Chairs tucked neatly under desks. The exit sign glowing red in the distance. Just me and the hum. And the feeling, certain, undeniable, that I was wrong. That I wasn't alone. That I'd never been alone. A few weeks passed. I tried to ignore it. Tried to pretend it was stress, new job anxiety, my brain inventing patterns where none existed. Everyone feels watched in open offices. Paranoia was normal. Then came the Friday before a long weekend. Most people had left early. The office almost empty. That particular quiet that feels less like absence and more like held breath. I was the last one packing up, or so I thought. Sam was at his desk, typing quietly. So still I'd almost forgotten he was there. I noticed something on the floor near my desk. A small folded paper. Cream-colored. Expensive-looking. Not standard office stock. Nobody had been near me all afternoon. I picked it up with fingers that suddenly felt numb. Written inside were notes about me. Not work notes, personal inventory. My morning routine, I arrived exactly 17 minutes early every day. Coffee order, 2 sugars, cream to the 3rd line on the cup. Spare earbuds, left drawer, back corner, under the sticky notes. Green sweater, Wednesdays, unless it was in the wash. Things only someone watching constantly would know. Things only someone who studied me would notice. I walked to Sam's desk, legs unsteady. "Did you leave this?" He looked up. Same polite smile, calm and empty. He shook his head slowly. "Nope, didn't see it." I searched his face for something. Guilt, amusement, fear, anything human? Nothing. Just calm. Like we were discussing the weather. Like he had nothing to hide because there was nothing to hide. I left early, hands shaking on the steering wheel, eyes checking the rear view more than the road. Spent the weekend trying to rationalize, maybe a prank, maybe some elaborate hazing ritual for new employees. But Monday, things escalated. My calendar had been edited overnight. Notes I hadn't typed. Reminders, to-dos, observations, appointments I hadn't scheduled. Things discussed only in a closed-door meeting with my manager Friday afternoon. Private things. Confidential things. Sam claimed he hadn't touched it. Nobody else had access to my account. IT confirmed no unusual logins. The edits had been made from my own computer. At 11:47 p.m. Sunday night. When I was home, asleep. 30 miles away. I started staying later at the office, keeping my eyes open, watching the watcher. But he never did anything overt. Never gave me proof I could show HR, evidence I could present. He just existed, calm, smiling, always in the right place at the right time. Watching with eyes that never seemed to blink. One evening I saw him at the break room window, staring down at the parking lot. I waved, an automatic gesture, testing. He didn't respond. His gaze stayed fixed on something below, on the asphalt and scattered cars. I got closer, curiosity overriding unease. Footprints on the windowsill, small, too small for an adult. Child-sized, almost. Dusty impressions that shouldn't exist. We were on the 4th floor. No balcony, no ledge, no way for anyone to stand there. They hadn't been there the day before. I was certain. I blinked, looked away, looked back. Gone. The sill was clean. Unmarked. I never said anything to anyone. Who would believe me? What would I even say? Started taking taxis home instead of walking through the dim parking garage. Left the office before him, timing my departures, creating distance. Avoided being alone. But the feeling of being watched never went away. It followed me home. It waited in my apartment. It sat beside me in traffic. Months later, a sticky note appeared on my desk. Yellow. Unremarkable. In Sam's handwriting. Don't worry. I know when you're thinking about me. Never saw him put it there. Never caught him near my desk. Never found evidence. And sometimes, more often than I want to admit, late at night when I'm working alone in my apartment, door locked and windows closed, I feel someone standing behind me. Just standing there. Just watching. I don't turn around anymore, because I'm afraid of what I'll see, or worse, what I won't. HR approved my desk move last month without asking why. Just processed it same day. The facilities guy wheeling my chair to the far corner said, "Sam already suggested this spot for you weeks ago. Said you'd feel less exposed here." He smiled, that same polite, automatic smile everyone in the office uses. Then walked away without another word. The thermostat changed whenever Lila walked by. I know it sounds trivial, ridiculous even, but the small things are always the warning signs, the details everyone dismisses, the anomalies that make you feel crazy for noticing. I worked in a mid-sized corporate office, cubicles with half walls. Lila was nice enough. Quiet, unassuming. But within the first few days, I noticed something weird. The temperature would change almost instantly whenever she walked by. Not a small adjustment. Extreme shifts. The display jumping from 72 to 65 in seconds. At first, I told myself coincidence. Maybe the system was timed, but it happened too often, too precisely. The instant she approached, the AC hissed or the heater clicked. Everyone would adjust without thinking. I started paying attention, watching, timing it. I asked a friend during lunch, trying to sound casual, "Do you feel a draft near her? Like when Lila walks by?" They shrugged, barely looking up. Didn't notice anything. But I noticed. God, I noticed everything after that. Then came the emails. Late one night, long after most of the office had emptied, my inbox pinged. The sound too loud in the stillness. Subject: from Lila. The question mark made it worse somehow, the uncertainty. The message was short. One line. No signature. "You're next." I froze. My screen flickered slightly when I moved the mouse, a brief stutter in the pixels. The sender's address was random numbers and letters. Nothing traceable, nothing real. I called her extension the next morning, hands shaking. No response. Just ringing. Then voicemail, her pleasant recorded voice asking me to leave a message. She walked by my cubicle that afternoon, smiling politely. I tried bringing it up casually. "Hey, did you send me an email last night?" She laughed. "Normal. Nothing sinister about it." "What are you talking about?" "Just nothing. Never mind." She tilted her head, studying me. "You okay? You look tired." "Yeah, fine. Just didn't sleep well." She nodded and walked away. I watched the thermostat on the wall. It clicked. 3 degrees colder in 30 seconds. Over the next week, strange things escalated. Files I'd saved on my computer would be moved without explanation. Not deleted, just relocated. Buried in different folders, renamed slightly, timestamps altered. My keyboard would be shifted in my drawer when I opened it. Not obviously. Just millimeters off from where I'd left it, angled wrong. Not enough to panic anyone, not enough to report, but enough to make me question whether I was imagining it, whether I was losing my grip one small displacement at a time. I started leaving for lunch earlier than usual, trying to avoid being alone in my cubicle. But she had a habit of appearing at the exact moment I sat down. As if she knew. As if she'd been timing it, always just behind my chair, always smiling that pleasant, empty smile. The disturbing part came one night when I stayed late to finish a report. The office was silent except for the hum of fluorescent lights. That particular frequency that makes your teeth ache if you listen too closely. I was typing, eyes fixed on the screen, fingers moving mechanically. Then I noticed the reflection in my monitor. Leila was standing behind me. I hadn't heard her walk in, My chair hadn't creaked under the shift of weight. The door hadn't opened. I would have heard that distinctive pneumatic hiss. She was just there, reflected in the dark margins of my screen, standing perfectly still, watching. I turned around, pulse hammering. She was gone. The space behind my chair was empty. The office stretched away, cubicles dark and abandoned, chairs pushed neatly under desks. No sound of retreating footsteps, no closing door, nothing but the hum and my own ragged breathing. I thought about calling security, but there was no proof. No one else was in the office. I'd checked when I arrived. The cleaning crew didn't arrive for another hour. What would I even say? I saw someone in my monitor reflection, but when I turned around, they weren't there. Maybe I was losing it. Then the phone calls started. My desk phone rang 3 times in a row. Sharp, insistent rings that made me flinch. Caller ID unknown. I picked up on the 3rd ring. Hello? Silence. Not dead air. Waiting silence. The kind that has presence, that breathes. Then a quiet voice whispered, so soft I almost convinced myself I'd imagined it. You shouldn't stay late. I slammed the receiver down so hard the plastic cracked. The next day I tried avoiding her completely. Strategic evasion. Stayed in meeting rooms with other people. Used the restroom at odd times. Avoided eye contact in hallways. Took the stairs instead of the elevator. She still appeared wherever I was. At the printer when I collected a document. By the coffee machine. Walking past my cubicle with a stack of papers, always at the exact moment I looked up. Always meeting my eyes for just a fraction of a second too long. The thing that finally made me understand something was deeply wrong came on Friday. I arrived early. The office almost empty, that pre-work stillness. The thermostat was set to 72. Normal, comfortable. I was checking emails when I heard it. The hiss. Cold air flooding the vents. The temperature dropped instantly. Not gradually. The digital display flickered from 72 to 58 in the span of a heartbeat. I glanced up, skin already prickling with cold. No one in sight. The office was empty. But on the conference room window, something faint. A handprint. Small. Too small for a normal adult. Child-sized almost. Pressed against the glass from the inside. Fingers splayed, palm flat, like someone had been pushing, trying to get out, or trying to get my attention. I stared at it, breath fogging in the sudden cold. It began to fade as I watched, not wiped away, but dissolving. Pixels of condensation evaporating in reverse. I blinked. Gone. The glass was clear, clean, empty. I stepped closer. Legs unsteady, pressed my own hand where the print had been. The glass was ice cold. Cold enough to hurt, cold enough to leave my palm aching. I left the office that day without finishing my report. Didn't log out properly. Just grabbed my bag and left, walking fast, not quite running, feeling eyes on my back the entire way to my car. I didn't tell anyone. What would I say? Who would believe me? I started working from home when I could. Vague health concerns, internet installation, family obligations. Avoided late nights entirely. Scheduled all my meetings for mid-morning, when the office was full and bright and safe. Every so often, I get a notification from the office email, usually automated reminders, password expiration warnings, fire drill schedules, birthday celebrations. But sometimes, just before midnight, there's a short message from an unknown sender. No subject line, no signature. You're colder than you think. I never reply, never acknowledge it. I never go back late. never stay after dark, never work alone. And I still have this uneasy feeling, constant gnawing, that she's watching. Not just in the office, but somewhere close enough to know when I'm alone. Close enough to see through my windows. Close enough to feel the temperature of my apartment drop when she thinks about me. Sometimes, late at night, I hear my thermostat click. The temperature shifts. And I don't check it anymore. I just pull the blankets tighter and wait for morning. Facilities locked the office thermostat to 72 degrees permanently without asking why. Just did it the next day. The maintenance tech said while reprogramming the panel, "Lila already put in the same request last week. Said you'd be more comfortable if it never changed again." He gave that same quiet, polite smile she always wore, then left without another word. Small things moved on my desk. Pen caps, stapler, coffee mug turned wrong. At first I told myself I was forgetful. But then it got worse. I work in a small office, 5 people. Maren was always there before me, and I arrived early. She stayed long after everyone left. One evening I came back from a meeting. My computer was logged in, not asleep, active. A file open that I hadn't touched. I asked her about it. "Did you use my computer?" Oh, I must have been tidying. Smiling like nothing was wrong. But I hadn't asked for help. How did she know my password? Then calendar entries changed overnight. Notes appeared on sticky pads. Plans I'd only thought about. Meeting at 2:15. When I'd been planning to leave at 2:10. Coffee shop closes at 4, on a day I'd decided to walk there. The handwriting wasn't mine, each letter perfectly formed. One night, staying late, I heard footsteps behind me. Soft, deliberate. I turned around. Empty. I turned back to my screen. The document had changed. Words I hadn't typed appeared. Handwriting in the text. "I know you're here." My chair scraped backward. No one there, just that message. I shut down, left fast. Friday I left early, dentist appointment. I forgot my headphones. Monday morning they were waiting. Neatly coiled, cord wrapped with precise loops. They were cold to the touch, not room temperature. Cold. But the office had been empty all weekend. I checked the footage. The office stayed dark. No movement. But someone had been there. I requested a transfer. Even now, I think about Maren, about how she always seemed to know where I was. Sometimes when I'm working alone, I feel someone behind me. I don't turn around. The new office manager smiled when she handed me my key card. "Maren mentioned you might want to keep them close.